I think we should give him shit for not being here at 12:45.
He's here.
I know, but he's on a call. Doesn't matter if you're here. We start at 12:45.
He doesn't know the rules. He doesn't know the rules for that.
Actual doctor.
I know, but you know what?
We're rolling, right?
When you say what time you're starting, that is what time you're starting.
Did say,
But he's good.
it is 12:42, and we said 12:45.
Okay, he's got 3 minutes. Nobody warned him.
He's here, though. He was here before you guys.
The doctor is here.
Yeah, but the doctor's in.
And I know he's in because he took my spot.
Late, though. Like, have you, I mean.
By the way, people are on doctor time. You know what I mean? Doctors aren't on our time. We're on their time because we need them to save our lives.
Oh, okay. I think that's fair.
Do we?
I don't know. We do.
But that's assuming he's on the phone right now with a patient. He could be on
90%.
He could be on with his bookie.
He could be on with his bookie.
He could be on with his bookie.
He could be on with his mistress.
Sure.
It could be his insurance adjuster. I don't know.
90% patient. Spending
doing
I
penance
spent
over
a lot
the
of
phone?
time around Dr. Kipper. He's Danny's doctor, and he's my doctor, and I consider him a personal friend. But the man's phone is constantly ringing with.
Oh, while you're in the room with him?
He's good about like having it off, but every now and then he's like, "Oh, this is like the Sultan of Dubai, and I have to go take this and make sure his cough is cleared."
I've always appreciated that about Dr. Kipper. I too have known him for a very long time.
I made that up about the Sultan of Dubai, though, so please, no one.
He gives
get off me.
He gives his patients access.
Sure. Well, yeah.
And that's great.
Well, that is always the day.
All right, here we are.
The guys need lumbar support, but if you don't need this, I can remove this for you.
I need different support, but
he needs emotional support.
Emotional support.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I'll take his lumbar support then if he's not.
He's going to double up.
Sure, but
He's gonna double up.
I don't have one.
Oh.
I don't have one.
Okay.
I was just telling a story. I was
even reach
down.
it.
My wife and I were down in San Diego having dinner at a restaurant called Market, and I was talking to the chef. And I asked him if he had a good doctor down in San Diego because we may be moving there soon. And he said, yes, I do. In fact, his name is Dr. Kipper. Now, would that be your brother?
I have 2 brothers that are doctors down there. So it would have been my younger brother, Stuart. Yes.
Okay, he didn't mention the first name, but he said Kipper. I was like, that's crazy. I'm literally about to see Dr. Kipper, LA Dr. Kipper, in a couple days.
That's my little brother.
Wait, you have how many brothers in total?
I have 2 brothers.
And they're both doctors?
Both doctors.
Was your father a doctor as well?
My father was a meat man.
A meat man.
Yeah.
Is that just an older word for a doctor, a meat man? Like
The original doctor.
That's all we are, just meat puppets, right? Just,
But I love my brothers, and he's great.
And is he? You're an internist,
I'm an
correct?
internist.
Okay, and are they internists
And
as
Sue's
well?
an internist. My older brother is a nuclear medicine specialist, so he does all these crazy scans and
I don't know what you're
imaging studies and
nuclear medicine. A nuclear.
He does. If someone has a heart problem, a cancer problem, and they need imaging scans, and that's what he does.
Okay, what does that have to do with nuclear stuff, though?
Well, they use nuclear isotopes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a new thing?
Yeah, of course.
It is a new thing.
They use nuclear
New in the
isotopes,
60s, I think, but it's relatively new.
Okay, all right. I was not familiar.
Now, of all your siblings, who has the most famous patients? It's got to be you, right? You said.
Can't talk about
Okay.
it.
That's the best.
You don't
That's
have to
the
say names. I mean,
Yeah,
we
that's
know.
true.
We know.
Well, he's practicing out of Beverly Hills. The brothers are in San Diego. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, we can talk
You guys are
about
crushing.
one who's not here, and thank you for keeping him alive so that he can do our show for
And why isn't
many
he here? Was he not invited, or was he?
he's been invited many times.
yes, we've
you
been-
know, Danny. He's
elusive.
He's elusive.
He's elusive.
You gotta grab him when he's around.
You got to
Pin
get
him
him, roll out the red carpet. Maybe.
I bet he's not elusive for Dr. Kipper.
No, he's not. We'll break out some limoncello and we'll get him here.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well,
but he
how
doesn't-
are you? Thank you so much for doing this with us.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so
Are
here's
we
the thing.
good?
Question is,
Are we good? No, so
we
here's
good?
the thing.
Yeah. How can we set this up
set it
the
up.
best?
Okay, let's set it up.
Like,
So
I want to ask a bunch of questions before we even get into it.
I think that's
let's
fair.
give him some context for how we got into this.
Yes, please.
How did we get into this? We decided.
Well, no, it was
we
because
based on the
the episode Sweet D has a heart attack is coming up.
Yes.
Right. We did an episode where one of the characters has a heart attack. She goes to the hospital and then she gets kicked out because she doesn't have insurance and she can't pay. But we thought like, this would be a good opportunity to find out if any of us are headed towards heart attack country. and get our numbers, you know what I mean? Get our blood taken and find out what's going on inside of our bodies. But most importantly, to find out who's the healthiest amongst the three of us. So it's us versus each other. This is very much a competition. Just
so there's four of us because Meg is also.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, Meg. That's right. I forgot you got your stuff taken too. Yeah. So we are. This is a competition. Yes. And I'm just hoping that you're not biased towards Charlie because he's your patient.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you this. I feel like I lost already because I don't know about you guys, but after we sent in our blood work, I got a call from the company, which is
okay.
Never a good feeling.
What do you mean the company?
The company that's testing the blood saying, hey,
Quest Diagnostics?
Yes, we are required to call you and tell you about this result in your blood.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Now, what was that?
You okay, man?
I'm a goner. It's been good to know you guys. No, it was a cholesterol thing. But we'll see what the numbers actually mean because I think
wait,
that's going to ding
Did
your
you
score.
then call Dr. Kipper? I think it might be fair to have done that.
Yes.
Okay. I was about to get upset with you because that ruins the whole podcast.
Of course. No. I was just, and by the way, we did not discuss, but I was like, hey, just so you know, I got a call from this company and they said, would you like to consult with our doctor? I said, no, I have my own doctor and he can tell me I'm dying. So, maybe we'll cut all this so it can be revealed. But I got some numbers that were out of the range according to them, but maybe not according to this guy. We'll see.
Well, here's what I do know. In the beginning now, it's going to be us versus each other. But at a certain point, I think if you give us all equally bad information, it's going to be us versus you. And really, we'll be attacking you personally, attacking Western medicine in general. And maybe
since I'm interpreting this, guess who's going to win?
Yeah.
So
medicine.
Probably
science.
I believe, according to the Hippocratic Oath, you can't.
Oh, you can't do harm.
You can't do harm.
We can do emotional harm, certainly. I don't think we would try to come at you physically. I don't think.
Well, you're not
for a
licensed.
lawsuit.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. That's true.
You're not bound by those same,
That's true. This isn't even a union.
We've not taken any sort of an oath here.
Can I propose I don't know what your format is, but
we
initially
don't have
This is it's chaos.
It's sort of a
like the show.
Yeah, we'll cut it together.
Okay. So there's four people that have all these numbers. And if it is a competition, we can certainly go point by point and say, Rob wins this one, Glenn wins this one. And
I like this.
throw Charlie in.
Liking this plan.
So,
yeah. So a point for each category, whoever wins each category, kind of a thing.
Yes.
Could there also be these are close? These are both.
Who's going to keep
good
track of the
numbers,
total
and each
points?
person gets a point. Type thing?
There could be that. There could be a tie for the two best. There could be a very bad number for who does the worst. I don't know if we subtract from the total.
I like it. I like it. I like grading on scale. Are we taking age into account, or is it just overall health? Because these guys are significantly older than me, and so
we do have a year on them.
They have a year,
Whole year. Yeah,
and we've got a few years on Meg.
It's true.
But if we're saying overall health, I don't think it should be relative to our
Doesn't
age.
matter.
It should just be okay. We are who we are. Okay.
So however you want to do that. I mean, I'm happy.
I like your proposal. Let's go line by line.
We'll figure this out as we go, just like we have been doing the podcast.
Yeah. And so would you guys like a copy of everybody's results, or should you want to be surprised?
I think we want to
Let's be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we, before we do this too, can we all take a guess as to what places we're going to come in?
Okay. I'm going to guess that Rob is the healthiest, followed by Megan. Sorry, Glenn. Followed by Glenn, followed by me.
Interesting.
I think, just based on lifestyle choices. Your lifestyle choice, I'm wondering if it's
Like too extreme?
Too extreme.
Too extreme, got it.
Too extreme and
Got it.
it's tipped.
Yes.
I do agree that I think Glenn is going to be. I think Glenn's going to come in second or third, though. I don't but
Well, he had me at third, right? You had me at third.
you had me at third. I think it's between Megan and Charlie. No, but the cholesterol
I'm
thing
very
that
lax.
threw me a little bit.
Yeah.
Meg's pretty healthy.
I looked at my numbers already. I looked at my results.
I looked at my results, and they lined up exactly with what I assumed they were going to be, because I just had blood work done like 3 months ago, and it's almost exactly the same.
Right.
But I didn't change nobody changed their routines or anything like that, right?
I did exactly what I've always done.
Yeah.
There was one issue that was generic to everybody is your blood pressures are all in a dangerous zone. Did you notice that?
This is a high stress job, Kipper. There's a lot of,
I think
there was something wrong with that machine.
Did they do it here or did they do it here?
They did it here on the wrist.
Yeah, and it was.
So this isn't very
I know
accurate.
that. Speaking for myself, I was not. I hadn't eaten anything, and I was like on like a lot of coffee.
And we
So I
also
don't know if
had
that affects
all
it.
just had our blood drawn, right?
Yeah, I can tell you this. I've never had high blood pressure in
Nor
my
have I.
entire life.
Same.
Well, I wouldn't say never.
Fair enough. According to this, according to this,
Yeah. So I actually brought a blood pressure cuff so we could either just
Yes.
knock this metric out and not bother with checking your pressure.
Should we
Yes.
do the blood pressure
Please.
first or last?
as like the tiebreaker, maybe.
Yeah, let's take
okay.
the end.
Save it.
Yeah.
Although I feel like our blood pressure might be rising.
No, that's
Yeah, it is.
based on the
who's calm
information
under
we
pressure.
get.
That's
I'm
part of
learning a
it.
lot about ties from your TV show Wrexham.
Yes,
Which
a lot
is
of
very
draws.
good. I
Okay,
sent
thank
them
you.
a nice.
Thanks.
I watched it. I was excited. I'm interested to also like what you thought of I Want You Back.
I loved it.
Interested. Yeah, we've talked about that.
I texted
I
you
know
after
you
I saw
loved
it.
it.
I loved it.
I told you how much I loved it. We were playing golf. I can
remember.
take you back to Lakeside Golf Club.
This is the problem. I can't talk shit because I don't remember stuff.
I texted you right after I saw it. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you
I
very much.
found it very
Anyways,
enjoyable.
we have Kipper here. Let's not waste his time.
Yeah,
Let's talk
yeah.
about who's healthiest.
What's the first metric?
Yes.
So the first metric, we'll save the blood pressure for the end, right? Okay, good. I'm not so sure there's going to actually be a tie that has to be.
Does coffee affect it?
Wow.
Does coffee affect the blood pressure
it
thing?
makes it go up a little bit.
Okay.
I've
well,
had nothing but coffee.
And none of you are on the lower side, so it's, I wouldn't add more caffeine.
I've had a tremendous amount of coffee.
I had a 5-hour energy drink before I came here.
All right. Well, so at least we're all in the same spot.
So that's my kidneys, my liver, and my heart.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's do these one at a time, and I'll sort of grade them as we go along and keep us tally here.
Okay.
This is amazing. I'm so excited. My
We've been
blood
talking
pressure's
about
through
this
the
for a long
roof right
time.
now.
I
mine
actually
is too.
feel-
Yeah.
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 Do you want to be the scorekeeper?
I will keep score, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Goodness.
Excellent.
Here's a.
Oh, we got a
Oh, you made
spreadsheet.
it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
you're
you just made her dream come true. Look at that.
It's 1,000 times more prepared coming into this podcast than any of us have ever been.
I know because he's a grown adult with responsibilities.
Yeah.
He assumes there's structure and thought put into.
No, he doesn't. All right. So the first thing that they measured was your BMI. That's your basic metabolic rate. It tells you how overweight you might be. And you all did very well. There was a tie. There was a 3-way tie between Rob, Glenn, and Megan. Sorry, Charlie.
Oh yeah, I know.
You weren't far behind, but so you could put in 3 wins there.
All right, so that's 3 points for you guys, and I lose a point. Do I need?
Okay,
I don't think you
do
lose
I
a
need
point.
to
I
lose
think you
a
just
little weight?
don't get a point.
No,
right?
your BMIs, by the way, they were all good. They were all in a very good range.
Okay.
I want a healthy
But
rate.
It's
they
just
were-
ours were a
Good enough.
little bit better.
Yeah, just barely.
Ours are more better than
I have a little more power, is what you're saying. Just a little more.
Sure. Yeah.
A little bit more mass.
But
little
you have
more
a-
strength.
if you could cultivate
Strength.
that mass.
Yeah. Now, if I was their height, well, my body mass would be very good.
Again, you're sort of lost that one. This is a 2-way tie for Glenn and Megan.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Wait, you lost
No,
the
it
height?
No, I definitely know I lost the height. It's just a question as to whether or not that makes you more healthy because you're taller.
Well,
That-
now, what does that mean? Because you're not saying we
Strike
win because we're the tallest, right?
You know that longevity data shows that if you're very tall, you have a shorter lifespan.
Okay, so that's a tie
So
between
that's a
Megan and I.
point for me.
that's actually
That's a
I'm
point
sorry,
for
Mr.
Charlie.
Shorter
I'm sorry, I stopped.
shorter lifespan.
Got it.
I would
Shorter
I would
attention span,
vote
too.
to strike that from the record because it doesn't really make any sense.
I would also like to strike weight because I didn't enjoy that I was heavier than most of the guys. So if we could strike that one as
were
well.
not. Oh, were you?
I was. You were the only
Well, you're
person that
t-
was,
I
was 1 pound. Oh,
heavier
right.
than me.
But muscle is
wait.
heavy and you have a lot of
That's
muscle.
true.
Just so you're walking around with a lot of muscle.
I saw your Instagram post today where you were pushing all kinds of weight.
Yeah.
My
I'm
God.
I'm also extremely muscular, and it's hard to
Yeah.
just go around.
By the way, I would if I were you, push not to have that metric stricken from the contest.
The height
You're
one?
finally coming in here.
I know, yeah. So I finally got a point. 1 point for shortness, please.
Wait a second. So if Danny was here, he'd be the most healthy.
Well, look at him, man. He's still going.
Asterisks.
I've gone and given Charlie a point, and I've also put an asterisk next to it. So we'll count up the asterisks.
And then at the end, I'm sure there's going to be tons of those.
I feel like I would deserve the point more if my body mass was as lithe as yours.
But I think Glenn gets a point just out of kindness because it's context.
There's none of that.
The context of this is the genetics.
Yeah.
So all of these things have to be interpreted in context. So you brought up genetics. I think that's worth half a point.
Yeah. Just for social consciousness.
I didn't know we were giving out points for that. I don't know.
Too much stress over here.
I appreciate that. I don't think I should get a point for it simply because I think we should just be getting points for
let's do the hard numbers.
stuff.
The hard numbers.
Now, cholesterol, we'll move into the fats and the lipids. The lowest number was Glenn. And that was your total. That was the total cholesterol. But where there are where the genetics come into play, that's where this one comes into play, because cholesterol is a genetically determined metric. So it does matter how much you eat and what you eat to some degree, but your basic numbers are genetically predetermined.
Wow.
And when we relate this to heart disease, the genetics also take over, because if you have a family history, a strong family history for heart disease, your cholesterol has become that much more important, especially if you have a first-degree relative that died early from a heart attack, like in their 50s, then these numbers become much more relevant. So not everybody needs.
But yes, because we have in my family, we have historically high cholesterol, but my internist tells me that it's not as big of an issue because we live into our 90s and nobody dies of heart disease. They all die of prostate cancer and things like that.
So a way to actually understand that is to do a really simple test. It's a calcium study of your coronary arteries. It's a 6-minute test. You don't get naked. You don't get stuck with a needle. You're laying on a table, and it measures the calcium in the 3 arteries of the heart. And if we see calcium in these arteries, it means that you're forming plaque. If you start to form a plaque, a cholesterol plaque, if it lodges in the artery, it takes about 18 months for that plaque to scar down and become calcified. So if we see calcium on this scan, we then understand that you are putting some plaque into the arteries. So let's say you have a high cholesterol, but you have no plaque, you have no calcium, then that's a genetic cholesterol issue, and you're really not obligated to treat that. So
let's get that test.
The total cholesterol is meaningless. It's the bad cholesterol. So it's the component. Well, the total does matter, because if it's really high, none of yours were really that high.
So no points.
But wait a second now.
He said it doesn't matter.
He didn't say it doesn't matter at all. He said it doesn't. Should I get a point for it?
Well, you're about to get a point for what I'm about to explain.
Maybe I get.
So there's 2 kinds of cholesterol. There's a good and a bad. And the good cholesterol is good because it grabs the bad cholesterol, puts it into the poop chute, and it eliminates it. The bad cholesterol is the one that lodges in the arteries. So you want a high HDL.
Right.
You want a low LDL.
Right.
And the LDL numbers are interesting because, as you pointed out, we're learning more and more about how these molecules work. We used to treat an LDL with statin drugs, and there was a coronary association. We would get those numbers below 130 when I started practice, and that number dropped to 100. That number then dropped to 70, and now it's 50.
Good God.
It took a lot of people that had serious heart disease, bypass operations, multiple heart attacks. They gave them these lipid-lowering medicines, these statins. They followed these people, and they followed their LDLs. And what they found was that the people that had these low LDLs did better.
So, what are our numbers?
Glenn, your number was, you won. You were 73. And Rob, you were 137. Megan, you were 83, and Charlie, you were 110. So when they told you that your cholesterol was up, it's really a meaningless number.
But that's what they're referring to, the LDL. Or is it the LDL in relation to the HDL? So if your HDL is higher, does that cancel out some of the LDL?
Yes. People that have a high HDL, for whatever reasons, they have better longevity statistics. So they're somehow eliminating the bad cholesterol, and for reasons that I've never understood, they seem to do better. You can't do much to raise your HDL. That's sort of the problem. Really? That's also a genetic number.
So when I got a call, I think about the HDL, right, which was high.
You got a call about the total cholesterol, but your HDL, actually all of you did really well with your HDLs. Your HDL was 67. Rob's was 70. Glenn, 58. And Megan, you won this one. You were at 88.
Hey-o.
Because you want to be higher there.
This is how I've chosen to score this. I'm going to give Glenn a point for his total cholesterol. I put an asterisk there because it's meaningless. Yeah. I've given Glenn a point for getting the lowest LDL, and I've given myself a point for having the best HDL.
Okay.
That seems fair.
That means the current health point score is Rob 1, Charlie 1, Glenn 3, and Meg with 2.
The other fat in the system is the triglyceride. And the triglyceride is just another form of fat. We don't associate this necessarily with heart disease, but as you pointed out, Glenn, there are studies now showing that a high triglyceride may in fact impact your problems with your coronary arteries. So, having said that, the winning number here, Megan, at 45.
Wow.
Glenn, you were 83, Rob 112, and sorry, Charlie, you were 136. But those are all normal numbers. So none
all
of those
within
are
normal
bad.
range.
Yes, none of those are bad.
Well, so
like mine is
how can it be more normal?
Well, so that's what I was going to say. In your opinion, then, does it, if we're all within normal range, is it still significant? I mean, hers was though significantly lower, however, I will say, than even mine. She's at what, 50 something? I was 83.
Megan's at 45. If I had
45,
to pick the blood I would want the 45.
Well, then she gets a point. That answers the question. Yeah.
This is also genetically determined, and it's hard to really change that. But if you're massively overweight and you're eating all the wrong stuff, you certainly can raise your triglycerides.
That's actually a good metric too. The blood that you would want, or the number that you would want.
I think that's
really good.
100%. Totally.
Because if it's all normal and it doesn't really matter, then this doesn't work. We need to find a way to
me being a lady doesn't have anything to do with that, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
Very good question. No.
Okay.
Are there any advantages or disadvantages that any one of us will have for being either male or female?
Socially or
societally?
Yeah.
I'd go ahead and knock a few points off just for being a woman in the society.
Yeah, although she does live longer, she doesn't live as well.
She does, but we control whether or not.
Exactly.
It's like 83 cents.
Her testosterons are going to be the lowest.
Right.
Her PSA will be the lowest.
Right.
And your estrogens will be the lowest.
Right.
Okay.
So it sort of washes out.
Okay, great.
This is a point where you want to pick your parents. This is about picking your parents with the heart stuff and the fats. Yep. So there's a measure called a CRP, a C-reactive protein, and it's a generalized inflammatory marker. And that inflammatory marker indicates that there's something going on in your system. So people that have arthritis, people that have cancer, people that are overweight, that CRP number goes up. And the more inflammation there is, the more likely you are to mutate your cells and get cancer. And heart disease is also more vulnerable. So on that, we have a three-way tie for the best number, which would be, sorry, Charlie, would be Rob, Glenn, and Megan. You're going to be so sorry you asked me to do this.
I predicted myself to be the loser. I'm in a lot of pain, and I feel ill.
Good. Your number was also normal. So.
I'm in a lot of pain, and I feel very ill.
You guys were very normal, and you were normal. Okay.
So now how do we do it? So the three of us get a point?
Yeah.
And then he just does not get a point. Is that how we're doing it? Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean that to rub that in. I just wanted to clarify.
No, it's fine. It's just
The
my
older
general
you
health.
get, that number just goes up just because your metabolism changes. People gain weight as they get older.
Well, that's good that we're all within normal range, though. Can we acknowledge that, Charlie, that you are within, healthy normal range? Just not as healthy.
That's true. I want to get like a general analysis and assessment at the very end, which is recognizing how old we are. Are we healthy or not?
Yeah, I would like to know, am I healthy in general at the end of this, but also like,
what can I do
am I also healthy for my age? Like, because you know what I mean?
Am I walking out of here with a prescription for Lipitor? Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Am I walking out of here with my chin held high?
I would say like
Or am I slouching?
both you guys though like have parents that don't have a history of like, heart disease and cancer, right? As do I. Yeah. So not only that, but also you exercise regularly and are the most disciplined eaters I know, except for maybe Bateman. But like, so if you guys aren't healthy, nobody's healthy, right? Like
this is
I don't know.
When was the last time you ate a carbohydrate? You.
Almost every meal.
I ate a sandwich on the way over here.
I've never seen it.
And I drank some whiskey. I drink 4 shots of whiskey every night. My liver and kidneys are going to be terrible.
A mess. You think so? I don't know. You might be all right.
Okay.
All right. Let's keep going.
The next set of metrics that they looked at were your blood sugars. So diabetes is what this relates to. So they did a
like blood glucose levels?
and then they did a hemoglobin A1C, and I'll explain that in a second. But your glucose numbers, those random glucose numbers, Glenn, you win again. Charlie, you were a close second.
Oh,
hey, buddy.
But I don't think we're giving points for second.
We're not.
Damn, but at this point, I'm psyched to come in second.
Yeah.
I'm not last.
So
He doesn't need the point.
yours was 65. That's 100, 130 is like a normal range. 65, 82, 78, 99.
Oh, 99.
Now, can I ask you, is that, so I usually intermittent fast almost every day. I mean, pretty much every day. And it's my understanding that can help.
Intermittent fasting is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around 200 years. It's really smart. The hemoglobin A1C is the metric that we now use to understand if we're pre-diabetic. That's really what we want to know with these numbers, or if we're diabetic, to see how bad our diabetes is and whether we need to be more aggressive with our treatment. And that number's a 3-month average of your blood sugar. So it's not fasting. It's not 2 hours later. When I started practice, it was a 6-hour glucose tolerance test. Imagine trying to stick somebody every hour 6 times.
Oh my God.
So the A1C hemoglobin is, they take a hemoglobin molecule, that's the red blood cell, right? That carries the oxygen through the system. Every cell in the body is dependent on glucose as an energy source. So they take a bunch of hemoglobin cells and they look at them and they average the sugar content in these cells. And that's your A1C hemoglobin. So those numbers are, if normal is below 5.7, and here the decimal points matter, and you're a diabetic when you're in the 7s, you're a pre-diabetic in the 6s. This is sort of a broad stroke. In Europe, it's a whole different measuring of these numbers.
I mean, between 5.7 and 6, like, ooh.
Yeah, no, it's you start paying attention when people are in their 6s.
And is it bad if you're if you're too low?
No, it's good.
Okay, so too low is not a bad thing.
It's good. You all did really well with your A1C. So, Charlie, I'm so looking for a win here.
I know. Don't get you.
You were 4.8, only beaten by, once again, Glenn, who was 4.4. Closely behind Megan was 5.0, and Rob, very acceptable 5.1. So these are great numbers.
Nice.
And at this stage in your life, if you were really going to be pre-diabetic, these numbers would be a little higher. So you're probably, I would bet that there's not a lot of diabetes in your family.
I don't think there's any in mine. I don't know anybody. I mean, there could be on
that, but not.
I don't think there's any health issues in your family based on where we are now. You're
Unfortunately, there's not a mental health chart there.
Oh, dude, totally. You're absolutely right.
Well, that's the next one.
The current score is Rob with 2, Charlie has 1, Glenn has 6, and Meg has 4.
So the next studies were the kidney functions. And we measure a protein that gets processed through the kidney. And if the kidney is working normally, that protein is eliminated. And if it's not eliminated and these little filters in the kidney that are responsible for getting rid of the toxins are damaged or not working, then it backs up in the blood. That creatinine backs up in the blood and that number goes higher. So you want a low creatinine. It shows you that your kidneys are working. And you guys all did great.
But who did the best?
Normal's about up to 1.2. And Meg, you have the win here. You had a 0.76. A very close second at 0.98.
Top man score.
Yes.
You're doing that now. Top man score. Yeah, yeah. That'll eliminate you from the competition.
I probably shot off the woman's tee, right? So it doesn't really count.
It doesn't quite count. We're talking about a man's kidney here.
All right, I'll give you a man's point for that.
One man's point, please. One man's point, please.
You guys were close. Rob, you were 126, and Glenn, you were 125. But these are all great numbers.
Okay.
We should drink to that.
I'm going to drink to that.
I'll drink to that.
So these filters are also measured in something called the GFR. And when you see your lab stuff, that's the filtration rate of these little filters. And so in that regard, the higher the number, the better. We start to worry when those numbers are below 40. You guys, again, did very well. The highest male number goes to Charlie at a 96.
That's good kidney.
You two tied at 72. And the female winner is 103.
That's the overall winner.
But that's the overall winner.
Wait, we're not breaking this up.
All right, yeah. We'll let her, give her the win.
I'll get a woman's point for that.
So if you guys need a kidney, that's where you're
Megan's the
going.
one.
She's the one. Okay.
You got 2, right? You got 2 still?
I do. I think. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
A set of liver tests were done. And so
This one I'm going to guess the winner is Glenn.
I don't know. It could be you.
We've all done damage.
I've done the long-term damage.
I'm going to come in last.
Damage.
I can tell you that. Charlie came in last. Okay. All right.
Long-term damage.
Yeah,
you all did fine.
You think you could
the
drink?
first number first one they looked at was bilirubin. It's just one of these things that we have in the kidney. You're all in the normal range. The lower the bilirubin, the better. Glenn, you were Oh, wait a minute. Rob, you were 0.5. You were 0.6.
Oh, yo, bilirubin.
Wow.
Is your friend in here?
Bilirubin.
Bilirubin's fine.
I say we make another liquor like Scotch and call it
Bilirubin?
bilirubin.
Yeah,
that's a good
idea.
name
That is
for
a good
it.
This was a
Alcohol
photo
brand.
finish on this one for
Okay.
you guys.
Oh, I'll take it.
When you see people turn yellow, it's because their bilirubin is up. And that usually starts happening when they're in the range of 4.
I had jaundice when I was
Where
born.
am I at with my bilirubes?
You're 1-1.
That's fine.
Another photo finish for second. You were 1.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I watched that.
So Rob gets the point
I'll
there.
take it.
Wow.
That's
That
astounding.
is astounding.
That is astounding.
There's a globulin, which is just a different protein that's measured. You guys were all in the normal range.
Who was the best?
And
Who is the best
got the
goblin?
best
Who's the
goblins?
goblin?
Who's got the best goblins?
2.1 for you guys.
For
2.5
Glenn and Rob.
over here.
Is high good?
2.5 for Charlie.
2.6.
Well, you want low goblins or?
You don't want high globulins, so then by
We'll share a point.
Yeah, we should share a point on that one. Yeah, 1 point each. Yeah. all right.
Can't get in this.
then there's a series.
I'm a goner.
Glenn, you take issue with having to download a million apps. Now I'm the same way, but with getting a million notifications.
Now, you can turn those things off, right?
Oh, I do. I silence everything except
Oh, that's the Shopify notification of a new sale, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere, whether your thing is selling vintage t-shirts or recipes for ghee. And I love the dopamine rush of hearing I found another paying customer.
Another customer for what? What are you selling?
Well, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, Charlie.
Are you selling ghee recipes? Because why would you say that if you aren't? Because it was oddly specific.
It's probably at least ghee adjacent.
It's absolutely in the ghee vicinity, right? That's what I'm picking up. Oh, there it goes.
Another sale, man. Guys, it's never been easier to sell and grow my dream business, which you don't know what it is because I haven't really talked that much about it, than it is with Shopify and their 24/7 support and libraries of free educational content help me feel in command of my ghee empire.
There it is. Yeah. So whether you want to sell ghee recipes and share it with your friends, or you want to be super weird and secretive about it, either way, sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/sunny, all lowercase.
Go to shopify.com/sunny and start selling online today.
Shopify.com/sunny. Get that ghee, get that ghee.
For all you listeners and creeps, guess what season is upon us? That's right. Spooky season.
And with spooky season comes the latest scary, soft Halloween collection from MeUndies.
That fabric is so soft and so lithe. It actually does kind of scare the shit out of me sometimes because I feel like I put on no underwear at all.
Well, if you want to live out Glenn's nightmare and discover just how comfy these MeUndies are yourself, you can get 20% off and free shipping on your first purchase for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, no feeling monstered, mashed up down there with this stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You're not so mashed up on your monster.
And if you're a lazy creep who waits until the last minute to get in the spirit and needs an 11th hour costume, MeUndies has your backbone with their spooky skeleton loungewear set, Lazy Bones.
The scary soft hype is real, everyone. If you're not impressed with MeUndies, your first pair is on us, and that is a promise.
To get 20% off your first order and free standard shipping on U.S. orders, go to MeUndies.com/sunny.
That's MeUndies.com/sunny. Go creep it out.
Iron. So the body needs iron to make red blood cells. And so there's two measures of iron. The first one is the actual iron content. A tie for second place, 177.
Rob and Charlie
beat
tied.
out by 82. And you didn't have one.
Oh.
I didn't
Well,
find
that is different for women, though, isn't it? Theirs is usually lower because of menstruation, correct?
Absolutely right.
Oh,
so it's actually a little unfair, even if she
doesn't know
did.
what he's talking about. All these years we've been making fun of him, and he knows he's happy.
You know your iron. That's exactly right.
Like every time Dr. Kidder says something, Glenn's nodding like he knows. We kind of.
I can't tell if you're paying attention. I can't tell if you're making fun of me.
I'm not. You're running away with the male title.
That one I believe we're giving. So iron, are we giving a point to Rob and Charlie then? Do they?
No.
Glenn.
No,
Sorry.
we're in last place, to be clear.
All right.
We're tied for last.
To be clear, Glenn gets the iron point. The iron point. That's
Iron
good.
Man.
Yeah.
But here is where Charlie wins. This is the PSA. Yes. It's the prostate antigen. So as we get older, our PSA goes up in cancer, and it goes up as we age because the prostate gland gets bigger. It's just an enzyme that the gland makes. But if there's activity in the gland, if you are hypersexual or you change your sexual pattern, you're very sexual and then you stop and then you start again, those transitions can raise the PSA. So this again is in context. You have to look at how this works. Also, anybody have a family history of prostate cancer?
No.
Yes, but like very late in life.
Okay. So we're not even sure that's a cancer.
Yeah.
At that point, we don't even treat those.
Mm-hmm.
But the winner is, I'm so happy to say this, Charlie, at 0.25. Yes. And Rob, you were 1.86. Glenn, you were 0.37. So those are good numbers. Those are all really good numbers.
It's all good? Okay.
But the best butt number.
Who's got the best butt?
It was my number.
That's right.
Good, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'm happy for you.
It's hard to believe.
How are you releasing all the pressure in there?
Yeah. Are you manipulating it in some way? Yes.
Sexual consistency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm all over the place. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, that is, none of you had a bad number. So those are good numbers. Vitamins. Vitamin B9, which is called folate. Again, it's another B vitamin. The B vitamins are important. As we get older, the B vitamins get absorbed in one very specific part of the small intestine. As we get older, that absorption site in the small intestine in some people can wear out. And so people lose vitamin B as they get older, especially B12. And if you lose B12, you get a lot of neurologic symptoms. So you guys are young. Your vitamin B levels are fine. Actually, the B12, here are the numbers on the B12. Glenn, do you supplement with B vitamin?
Yeah, I have to. Well, I don't. I have the MTHFR mutation, so I don't methylate well. So I have to take a methylation supplement that includes B vitamins in it. Otherwise, I can't get it from my food.
So you're a little bit above normal, which is fine. I mean, you know, you're 1169 when people get into the 2000 range, and a lot of people do because they take nothing but B vitamins. You gotta put the brakes on those people, but you're fine. And you are all in a good range, and there is no advantage of having more or less. So there's really no winner in this category, but Charlie, you were 392, Rob 896, and Meg, you were 434. So you're all fine with your
But I heard you say no winner.
Yeah.
So does that mean Glenn doesn't get a point for this round then?
Yeah, because there's no benefit to having more.
Glenn, tell us about this methylation and your off-gassing or whatever. what are you doing?
He's paying a lot more attention to his health. That is for sure. But we've always known that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's some sort of a genetic situation that I have that I don't totally understand it. You could probably explain it better than I could, but I just don't. I'm not even totally sure what methylating is, but I don't methylate certain vitamins, and I know folate is one of them, right? Or
methylation is something that the body does in its metabolism to break certain things down, and there are different forms of this. You said you had
I've got 2 SNPs.
Yeah.
2 MTHFR SNPs.
It actually has some relevance in pregnancy.
Yeah, right.
Again, not going to happen at this table, but it's
not going to happen at that table either. That's been made abundantly clear.
Yeah, by choice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, unless it does happen, then you'll be forced to go through with it.
So the ability to hold on to a pregnancy if you've got this genetic defect.
Right.
How did you know to do that? Who checked you?
Noted to check for that?
Yeah.
I go see a functional medicine doctor, and
that's good.
We do this kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, and
it's like a hobby to me. Like I know that these guys are giving me shit for it because they say that I don't enjoy my life because I pay so much attention to what I eat and stuff. But the truth is, it's a kind of a hobby for me. Like I find eating a certain way and just trying to dial in all the numbers and health and stuff. I just find it kind of interesting.
It's an amazing machine that we have. I mean, the way these things work on a cellular level it's crazy to me how all this stuff not only works, but integrates with everything else.
Yeah.
So it is fascinating. And then how it plays out in people's personalities, because you can have the same metrics, but you can have different, different mental health issues. Mm-hmm. You can have different activity levels.
Well, then there's a nature versus nurture aspect of that too, I would imagine, where just the way you're raised or your environment or whatever is going to play along.
And now as we're learning, your gut biome it's just a huge...
Your gut biome plays
a huge role in all that.
Is the king of that.
Yeah.
What's really fascinating, so the microbiome is located between the small intestine and the large intestine. That's where your appendix is. So there's this 2-inch little organelle called the cecum. In the cecum is where all these bacterial colonies live, and they're all predetermined again by your genetics, by your epigenetics. But the amount and the relative values of these bacteria, viruses, fungi, they will dictate your neurotransmitter levels, right, which is what happens in controlling your behavior. They will influence your immunity. They influence pretty much everything that gets run through the system and how the system runs. So when you take an antibiotic, you're going to distort the microbiome a little bit, and it may kill the bacteria that's in your system, but it's going to also make the microbiome a little unhappy. So any medicine that you take is going to have some effect there.
Have they done any studies on whether picturing a dog pooping will help you poop better? Because we were talking about that.
Yeah, what are the
day.
scientific studies on, like, if you're constipated and you want to use, imagery to sort of coax your doo-doo out of your butthole? Does picturing a dog pooping, does that
I like the word doo-doo. I haven't heard that in a long time.
It's been a while since I used it.
You should write a book.
I'm going to write a book.
I think it would affect you in some way. I think it depends on the person and the dog.
Definitely depends.
And
the dog,
and
the power of the individual's imagination, and
Okay, so we have only got about 15 minutes left with Dr. Pipper.
You're busy.
You have work
he
to
has
do?
to.
He's got to go.
He's
Lives
gotta
to
go.
save.
It's not your time. It's his time.
We'll move out of the doo-doo into the bone marrow. The bone marrow makes a red blood cell, a white blood cell, and a platelet. The red cells carry oxygen, the white cells fight infection, and the platelets are the things that form scabs when you cut yourself. You guys were all fine on all of this. On the white blood cells, if you got a bacterial infection, that number would go up. If you got a viral infection, those numbers go down. Normal's between 4 and 10. You're 4.1, Charlie. Rob, you were 7.3. Again, these are all normal numbers. Glenn, you were 5.7, and Meg, you were 7.1. So
but you want the lowest is better.
In a setting like this, I would say the lowest is the best.
Would you say that could potentially be an indicator that his body is actually fighting less pathogens, negative pathogens, and that's why
he's fighting more?
Well, if his numbers are low,
if he was fighting more virus,
yes,
it would lower it. But it's still in the normal range.
Right, but it could mean that he's riddled with viruses.
Right. The red cell is interesting. The three of you guys were so close. So a red blood cell carries oxygen. In a non-smoking adult, those numbers are they're generally around 15. You can see them up to 18. Smokers tend to be in the higher range. People with big barrel chests have a higher number.
Wow.
Do you want to win or lose now?
Charlie, you were 16.7. Rob, you were 16.4. You were 16.0. And you were 14.0 . So the winner is...
so higher is better.
Charlie,
higher is better. But
Charlie, Charlie Day.
It's coming into his own.
You know what it is? My blood cells are really good. You know what I mean? And that's kind of everything when it comes to health.
Yeah.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if your blood cells are bad, you're like really sick and shit.
You're like,
right?
nah.
Yeah,
You're not
coming up from behind. You've got a good bone marrow because you also won the platelet race.
Fuck yeah.
So
nice, buddy.
Coming in late.
You got good blood.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
you're that horse coming around the turn.
Come on. See biscuit.
3 points on blood.
Yeah, that's
3 points on blood
you're
alone
past me,
seems
bud.
a little unfair.
And so our current health point score is Rob with 4, Charlie with 5, Glenn with 8, and Meg with 6.
The electrolytes, I'll go through. You're all normal. Sodium, potassium, and calcium. And so sodium and potassium for all you guys were normal. 138, 140, 144. Those are perfectly normal numbers.
But is the higher number better or lower?
Higher or lower?
You want to be higher or lower?
You were talking about being hydrated, right?
Yeah.
So when you're overhydrated, when too much, that number goes down because it dilutes down. So you actually need to hydrate a little bit more.
Take one away from Glenn.
Wait, you had a lot of coffee that day.
The potassium again, it's a normal range, 4.3, 3.9, 4.2, 4.1. So having a 3.9 potassium is not a bad thing. If it was below 3.5, there'd be some question and some issue perhaps.
But the higher is better?
The higher is better until you get into the mid-5s.
But that's not where you are.
But it doesn't mean it's better. It just
you
means...
or was it me?
Who had the high?
Well, he said
the
it
highs
doesn't,
up below
but does it,
mid-5?
does it, but is it one of those things like that other thing where it doesn't matter as long as you're within a certain range, or is there an actual advantage?
Correct. Again, context. Let's say you were sick and your potassium was low, right? And we have to give you supplements of potassium, and then it comes higher. Well, you're higher because we gave it to you, not because that's your these
but there have been a couple of these already. And what we've established is that Dr. Kipper has to pick whose potassium
whose potassium do you want? That's the ultimate.
So if I had to pick, I would pick the number.
Now, there is an acceptable answer would be any of them. You know what I'm just saying? You don't have
then we'd have to go back and redo the other one.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I just want to be clear that it's like, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
If I had to pick a best potassium, I would. If I wanted to design my own potassium, it would be like 4.5. You were 4.3. You were closest to that. Okay. So if I were to award...
Well, let's give Charlie a point.
Thanks. I get a banana point for the potassium.
Good job, Charlie.
Calcium, last one, and then we'll get to the male stuff.
Don't look. Stop looking. You guys are already competitive.
You guys were very close on the calcium, and it's not about high or low, but if we went for the higher score, Charlie gets that one. He was 10.1.
Well, whose calcium level do you want, right? Let's continue to use that metric.
I'll tell you whose calcium level I would want. I would take any of these. Rob and Glenn were 9.6. Megan was 9.5. You were 10.1. I'd probably take the 10.1.
Charlie might have won this thing in the end.
I know, right?
He might have come back in the end.
The potassium and the calcium.
Boy, my blood really ran out of steam.
Yeah, you started strong.
I started real strong.
But Megan went on a good
Megan went on a tear.
The whole fucking time.
Real good. Okay, peoples, here at the Always Sunny podcast, we love doing things with ease. Okay, that's why we're glad our friends at Manscaped are joining us for Fresh Ball Fall.
That's right. Fresh Ball Fall is defined as the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice.
It's great for when you want to sip cider in an autumn breeze and trim your balls with ease.
Right. Now, are you trimming your balls outdoors in public in this scenario?
It's unclear. Maybe. You see, Manscaped is here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing that's shedding its excess leaves.
Even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose that excess clutter. I know when I use my Lawnmower 4.0 body hair trimmer from their 10-part platinum package, I feel a lot more in sync with the season, the moon, you name it.
Like a creature of the forest, a werewolf, perhaps.
Like something out of the Twilight movies.
That's right. Yeah, I'm constantly comparing myself to the Twilight movies.
Yeah, you are actually.
Look, basically, do you have a lot of pubic hair and you need to get rid of it? Use Manscaped. It's a lot of gobbledygook to try to, just be like, look, this stuff's going to help you trim your pubes.
Right.
So you're going to get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code SUNNY.
Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine. And in some cases, it's more of a trink than a trunk. So recently we went on tour and we blasted our audience in the face with t-shirts.
Yeah, get blasted.
But we only had 2 t-shirt cannons, and we would have been able to blast way more faces with way more shirts if we had another cannon operator.
Ooh, now that sounds like a job for ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day, man. Hiring. It can be so tiring.
No, well, okay. Yeah, I was just kidding with the singing. We don't have to sing a whole.
I've been desiring More
efficiency. Is that where you're going with that, Rob?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. So we're going for it here. All right. I get tired and feeble trying to find the right people. Was that good?
It sounds like you're saying peephole.
I heard peephole. Yeah. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/Sunny.
Try them for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Sunny.
Megan, you win the testosterone contest. I couldn't get that on your labs, by the way.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it. Quest
No.
refused to test my testosterone unless
do it.
ordered by a doctor.
Really?
But we did
You ain't a
order it, but
man.
I know, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't take the order.
But women make testosterone and we make estrogen. And testosterone ultimately gets converted to estrogen. So having said that, the numbers are good. And now obviously this is going to be the highest is the winner. And that would go to Rob.
There you go.
The most manly at the table.
The most masculine.
Does age matter in testosterone?
Age does matter, right? Because I'm a little younger.
Age matters that's a really great question. And to your point, when you are in your early 50s and beyond, those numbers start to come down. It's nature's way of telling us not to procreate.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I mean, people do run out of steam as they get older.
So what
So
were
we're
those
saying
numbers?
these guys have run out.
So let's hear these.
Rob, you were 1131. Charlie, 744. Glenn, you were 26.
No,
Kidding.
no.
You were 793.
Well, what was yours?
What was I? 744?
744, 1131.
This should count for so many more points.
Well, now hang on a second. I remember a year ago or so, I came in just for a general physical in your office, and you had said, hey, your testosterone is looking kind of low, but if you feel energy, you still have a sex drive, let's not do anything about it. Has it gone up? Because I've done nothing to get it up.
So to speak.
I like that phrase.
And it just keeps going up.
I can't respond to that statement. But so testosterone relates only really to libido. It doesn't. When you give people testosterone that are low in testosterone, they will say they feel stronger, they feel better, they're mentally more clear. There's never been any study that's proven that, and maybe there is truth to that. Not everything has to be a study or a database. But one of the reasons that you're careful with supplementing testosterone is that if you have a brewing cancer in your prostate that's just starting to develop and you take testosterone, you're pouring water on a flower. It's just going to nurture it. So we're very cautious in prescribing testosterone. So unless someone was really complaining that they had no sex drive and that's when you supplement. But then you have to watch their PSA really carefully. And if they had a family history of prostate cancer, you wouldn't supplement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just another point on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just kind of makes me the most masculine.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll see how manly you take.
Makes you the most horny.
I came in last.
Makes you the
I
most
definitely came
horny.
in last.
Are you guys ready to hear the final scores?
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
Okay.
I got to pee real bad.
So, in last place is Rob with 5 points.
Wow. Hard to believe.
Could you repeat back the
The
last
testosterone
one?
was 1,131.
By the
I
way,
had thousands of testosterone.
You got a lot of them.
at this table, that's the one that counts.
It's
Right?
completely useless.
It's a good.
It's completely useless.
It's a good metric.
I am
But I'll take
in
it.
next place, tied with the amount of asterisks at 6 points. Then tied for first currently are Charlie and Glenn, tied at 8. I think the tiebreaker should be your blood pressure
let's
right
do the
now.
blood pressure.
Yeah.
Right, let's do
Blood pressure
it.
would be
Right
good.
now, because now
Wait
I
a
gotta
second,
pee.
though.
Okay,
Wait a second, though.
Really?
I absolutely win for having put zero effort into any of this.
That's true.
That should be a winner right there.
blood,
Because
you-
I'm just
the
like,
blood is-
living my life and enjoying the shit out of it. I had 5 beers yesterday. I'll tell you what, before we really start to jump on each other, the big picture is that everyone's numbers are good.
You're all
Everyone
healthy.
here's healthy.
Pretty healthy.
You're all
pretty
very
good.
healthy.
Well,
For
that's
vanity's
good.
sake, I like to get that BMI down a little bit. But yeah.
I'm happy that you guys are all healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And
I mean, I got spooked when I got a call from the blood company about the cholesterol. I was like, well, I'm done. But you're saying it's good.
I'm saying it's good.
Okay, great.
I still
But
cut
the
back on
blood
hot
pressure
sauce
is
and beer.
high on all of us. That's
Nah, that
fascinating.
machine
was.
No,
that
those
machine
are
was
all
out of
wrong.
whack.
We're gonna see how.
Do you want
Charlie
your
and
pressure
Glenn do.
taken?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
please. Let's do it. Let's get the actual blood pressure taken.
What do you mean?
Right now,
got a-
he's gonna test your blood pressure properly.
And then let's do all
then
the
that's gonna be the
tests. Let's come up
tiebreaker.
with a bunch of different tests and do those too. This is fun. I ran 4 miles today.
Did you?
Yeah, there's another metric.
Yeah, but
It's like it's good for your heart.
you don't have the stress of the competition riding on this that Glenn and I have to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of not the same
Lower
thing.
stakes for me.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it
Less
about him,
steak.
but it's not.
I don't need to prove anything.
I know.
Not with 1100 testosterone.
Calm down.
Glenn's falling asleep.
He's getting his
He's
blood
trying to
pressure
get
down.
in his place.
But I applaud you, Glenn, for taking good care of yourself. I mean, it's very few people do that. You're the kind of guy I don't see in my office because you're healthy.
Right. Not as healthy as Charlie, though.
No.
Low pulse
That's what I was
rate,
gonna say. I think that's-
67. Blood pressures are very much the same. You're 123 over 78. You were 122, I think. Yeah,
Yep.
you were 122. So
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's way better than last time.
Let's do Glenn now. This is the one that matters. If you can beat 123 over 78 or a pulse of 67, this is exciting.
It's not that exciting. Let's not worry about it. Let's just keep it down. Glenn's in his zone. Let's keep that pressure
Very
down.
exciting.
He's falling asleep. He's relaxed, very relaxed. He's standing over the putt. It's a nice even stroke. It's headed towards the hole. And
130, 83 over 83, 74 pulse.
I'm sorry, that's not going to
Charlie
be
wins
enough to
pulse.
beat Charlie.
is
So
going to
Charlie's
Charlie
gonna
is
win
your
this one.
2022
Well,
health.
I am so relieved. I really thought I was like going to
this is a
die.
normal blood pressure. This is a normal blood pressure.
It's a normal blood pressure, but
Wow.
it's not the best blood pressure. I believe I had the best blood pressure, but it's not
did.
about me. It's about our champion
Charlie
and the healthiest
Day.
man at the podcast, Mr. Charlie Day.
This is why you're my doctor.
Yeah, well, put an asterisk over the whole thing.
For sure.
okay,
I'll
9
tell you what,
asterisks
I'm
then.
hugely relieved because we did the blood. I haven't been working out as much. I was like, God, I've let it slide. And then, I get the call from the people and they're like, the cholesterol's high. I'm like, I knew it. It's happening.
Buddy, I put you at number 1. I said it was going to be a tie between you and Megan, and I was
That's
wrong.
all
It was
genetics.
Glenn.
That's
It's
all.
you, bud.
That's all Tom and Mary Day.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much
Yes.
for joining
Yes,
us.
thank
Dr.
you.
Pepper.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. We have to
Dr.
get you out
Pepper.
so you can go help other people with non-podcast-based competitions.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you for
you.
That was,
so
it's,
long.
that was a
you.
pleasure.
A round of applause for
I'm out
Dr.
of calls.
Pepper. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's awesome. And I love that you have like an old school
Yeah.
doctor badge
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like the 1860s.
Is that a prop?